Once there was a preacher by the name of Ted Haggard who stumbled from the path, or you might even say staggered. He was 1 in a million, or more aptly 1 in 10. Some folks say he put the men in amen. He preached the gospel message of intolerance and self-loathing, and traveled on his wayward way betraying his betrothing. He was the soul of piety and no one doubted him, until he hired a gigolo and used a pseudonym. So he humbly went to counseling, and then 3 weeks later he's born again, because Ted Haggard is completely heterosexual. Ted Haggard is completely heterosexual.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Atheist Experience. We are live. It is Sunday, June 1st, 2008. That was Ted Haggard is completely heterosexual.
We've talked a lot about how
magicians are often kind of prominently involved in skeptic movements and things. I mean, not just James Randi and Penn Teller, but I mean, you know, Jamie and Swiss and
who will not be making it this year, unfortunately.
I mean, and by the way, most of the guys, you know, like Wiseman and you know, Phil Plait and some others they've done some amateur magic. They have an interest in it. It's something about the mindset and an understanding of how eager and willing we are to fool ourselves. And how easily we can take some really good assumptions that would normally lead to really good inferences and abuse that. I mean, that's what the magicians do. So one of my big reasons for wanting to go this year is because Banachek is giving a it's not just a lecture, it's a teaching session on memory techniques.
Exactly.
And I'm so frustrated at the things that I do forget.
Yeah, and that has already sold out, damn it. So,
I know.
So the thing that I was wanting to do also, which was the you know, how to investigate haunted houses, a little workshop.
Yes.
Which I would have loved to have done.
I think we should have taken a collection and sent all those haunted house show hosts to the lecture, so they get some instruction on what they should be doing.
The Banachek knocked me out last year just because what he does is incredible. He tells you straight, especially this audience at 10, right, where it's all a big fat room full of skeptics. You know, he'll tell you up front, nothing supernatural about what I do, nothing clairvoyant or any of that. You know, I know how to...
the disclaimer that it should be unnecessary.
Right, exactly. I just know how to read faces, I know how to read expressions, I know how to do things that are sort of you know, subliminally suggestive to you, so that you'll do the things that you'll give me the response that I'm looking to give you. And he would do stuff like, you know, he'd pick a book up at random off a stack and just toss it out into the audience and like you know, tell whoever caught it, open it to a random page. Go 3 lines. Go say like I don't know, pick 3 to 5 lines down and do that, and point to a word, and then like within 2 or 3 guesses he'd get the word, and you know, it would just, I could not figure out for the life of me how he would do that, but he would, you know, he would get it, and the person outside would be like, there's the word, all right. So and it's just all in terms of how to read individuals, and I guess, and read reactions and responses, which is what cold readers do, right? The people who advertise themselves as really being psychics, you know, Sylvia Brown and John Edward and you know, bozos like that. You know, all they're doing is, you know, they'll say something like that wonderful Simpsons parody of John Edward, where he's like, okay, do I see an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and the person's just sitting there, and then he'll get to some sort of letter in his cold reading, and the person will be like, and he'll zoom, and then the person doesn't realize it. It's just this completely unconscious sort of physical reaction, and he'll isolate that and go, aha. You know, and that's how they make these gullible people think that they're really reading their minds. So it's
in fairness, though, some of the explanations that you'll get, despite the fact that you think they're being honest with you, aren't necessarily the actual explanations of what's going on.
Oh yeah.
But the big thing is that the way the cold readers and a lot of these other similar type things work, humans are remarkably similar, especially in experience. It's not like I mean, you could go to a small, like this undiscovered or untouched tribe that was all over the news, one of a handful that have had no outside communication, and of course they flew helicopters over and they're getting ready to shoot arrows up at them, and you see that that their culture hasn't really changed much in the last several thousand years. You couldn't go to a place like that and do much of what the cold readers and mentalist routines, I mean, apart from things that are gimmicked or whatever, because not just the language barrier, but the cultural experience is different.
Right.
When you're doing a show, as let's say in America, there are elements of culture that we're completely unaware of that are almost ubiquitous. We have similar experiences in our lives because our lives are structured in the same way. You're born, you go through school for roughly the same number of years with some similar experiences. You know, the fat kids get bullied, the smart kids get bullied. So these build up this complex web of causality that lead to who we all are.
Right.
Is difficult to pin down, but it's similar enough that you can make some generalizations, and a couple rough guesses can get you a long way.
Sure. Like when Randy does his little thing when he goes on TV shows of just has, say, draw a picture for me. You know, and it'll just hand a person a pad and not look, and the person will draw a picture. And most of the time he'll be able to guess it because he knows that in our culture, if you're a non-artist, and somebody asks you, here, draw a quick little doodle.
Yeah.
Most people will draw a house, you know, with the, you know,
Yep.
inverted roof and a little sun with eyelashes, right? That's what a lot of people will do if you just ask them, draw a picture, and that person's not an artist.
Yeah.
There's just that sort of ingrained kind of cultural, it's a familiar image. And it's also something that's accessible if you don't know, if you're not an artist and if
Right.
you're asked to draw, it's a thing that,
Yeah, you're put on the spot, draw something that's outside. Most of you are going to scribble out a tree or car. I mean, that's just the way it happens.
But the house is the easiest thing because it's, you know, 3 lines. You have roof, and then the 2 walls down the side, and maybe the little, you know, the window with
the panes.
Yeah,
and
right.
if you're really cool, you put like the curtains on the side of the window.
Yeah, right. And then, of course, always the sun with
A
eyelashes.
preacher by the name of Ted Haggard, who stumbled from the path, or you might even say staggered. He was 1 in a million, or more aptly 1 in 10. Some folks say he put the men in, men.